Morality consists in the conformity and non-conformity of an act with the norm. But how does an act relate to the norm? How do we know that a given act is morally objectionable or not? The determinants of morality. Human acts relate to the norm under the following aspects. Number 1, in itself or object. 2, in its motive or the end. 3, in its circumstances or circumstances. Ancient thinkers have given us these actions. Bonum ex integra causa, malum ex cucumque defectu. It means that a thing is good if it has the fullness of its parts, and it is bad when it is deficient in any of its integral parts. They act in itself. Action done itself is to regard its nature. We identified it as the end of an act, finis operis, and also end of the door agent, or finis operantis. Intrinsic evil is the opposite of extrinsic evil. It is an act which is naturally or intrinsically evil because the act of itself is absolutely contrary to reason, to nature, and to God. The most common examples of things that people is being classified as intrinsically evil, like euthanasia, abortion, and the use of contraception. Extrinsic evil. Some actions are extrinsically evil because certain factors attached to them by way of circumstances render them opposed to the norm of morality. For example, drinking liquor is extrinsically evil when done in excess. Human acts done by a person who is in control of his faculties, intellect. My topic is all about the motive of the act. The motive of an act is the purpose which the door wishes to achieve by such action. It is what gives direction and motivation to an act. It comes first in the mind as intention and occurs last in the actions as its culmination or fulfillment. Without a motive, an act is meaningless and accident. Now, what is good motive? A good motive is one which is in accordance with truth, justice, prudence, and temperance. It is bad motive that which grows from selfishness, because such motive provokes action detrimental to others. For example, a student may not cheat in an exam in order to graduate. An employee may not fake his document in order to promote a job. The end motive does not justify the means or action means that the worthiness of purpose does not make an evil act good. The following are the effects of the motive on the action. Number 1. An evil act which is done on account of an evil motive is grievously wrong. For example, a youngster who steals from his parents in order to buy shabu for himself is committing grievous wrong to himself and his parents. Number 2. A good action done on account of an evil motive becomes evil itself. For example, the executive who gives a job to a lady applicant in order to seduce her later makes his kindness immoral because of his evil intentions. Number 3. A good action done on account of a good purpose acquires an additional merit. Example, the father who forgoes his expensive hobby in order to send his children to school shows a deeper concern for the welfare of his loved ones. Number 4. An indifferent act may either become good or bad depending on the motive. Example, opening the door of a house is an indifferent act, but the servant who in connivance with the thieves opened the door of the house of his master does a wrongful act. On the other hand, opening the door in order to give alms to a beggar is a good act.
Hi everyone, my name is Antoinette Ordanelia Ampatin from BEd 1B. So, my task is all about circumstances of an act. So first, an act is an event. It happens in a definite time and place. It is accompanied by certain elements which contribute to the nature of accountability of such act. In law, we speak a migrating or aggravating factor affecting the criminal act. Morality also take into account the circumstances surrounding an act. These circumstances are who, what, where, with whom, why, how, and when. First, the who refers to the primary doer of the act and also the receiver of the act. So, who refers to the person? For example, who is the owner of the company? So, second, what refers to the act itself and to the quality and quantity of the resultant of such act. So, the what, for example, what are you doing? So, third, the where refers to the circumstances of place where the act is committed. So, where it is represent the place. So, for example, where are you going? So, the fourth, with whom refers to the accompaniment of accomplices in the act performed. So, how refers to a manner how the act is made possible. So, for example, how you do that? How can you do that? Observation. First, circumstances may either increase or decrease the wrongfulness of an act. Example, killing innocent people in the case of terrorists exploding a bomb inside a commercial plane constitute a serious crime. On the other hand, by contrast, killing someone who has long oppressed the assailant is less wrongful. Nonetheless, the act remains evil, because no one may take the law in his own hands, even the purposes of averaging oneself. Second, circumstances also may either increase or decrease the merits of the good act. Example, helping another at the risk of one's own life is the greatest meritorious. Helping another for purposes of publicity lessen the merits of clarity. Third, some circumstances may alter the nature of the act. Example, the act of committing a hold-up is different from simple stealing. The hold-up presupposes the use of threat or violence, where the stealing implies stealth or deception. The conclusion. There are real distinctions between a pile of garbage and a garden of flowers. Garbage represents ugly, dirty, and wrong in a surrounding. Garbage stands for what is beautiful, clean, and decent in our society. Ang masama ay gawa-gawa lamang ng mga tao. Does not mean that evil is man's invention. It means that man uses his freedom to do wrong. So as a person, we have a freedom. Whether we are choose good or bad things. So it is our choices to do that good or bad things. To be an authentic person is to be a responsible person. He knows how to use his freedom only as an instrument to do good. So, this freedom, we have a limitation. So, we need to use this freedom in a good way instead of doing that something bad things.